Hey, welcome everybody. I'm Kim Matthews. I am the owner of Sparks Scribe Shift Notes, and this is Sam Jones.
Hey, I'm Sam. I'm the director of Jones & Co., a NDIS specific tax and accounting firm.
So Sam has agreed to speak to me and educate me about everything to do with what we need at the end of financial year, which is handy because people have asked a lot of questions in the group, which is great. And some of the things we're going to cover in this video, and then we've got a couple more videos coming. So the long and the short of it is, if you organise these 5 things now, the end of financial years we're going to become pretty boring, and that is the goal, is it not, Sam? Mm-hmm. To be boring for your accountant.
Yep. That's boring the best. Just if like the simpler it is, like these little steps, these little 5 steps, just make it so much easier when it comes to tax time. So I'm excited for everyone to learn these things.
These 5
makes my life easier, makes their life easier. So it's win-win.
Yeah, then you can have a good relationship with your accountant, which is what everyone wants. Mm-hmm. So this is just going to be a simple, repeatable system. So once you learn some of these things and you start putting them into place, they'll just be things that you do. So some of it's habit as well. So if this is your first time here, welcome. And thanks for taking the time to watch. As I said, it's going to be 3 videos, and by the time we get to the 30th of June, you are going to be super organised and know exactly what you need to do. So along with the videos, you're going to get free resources straight into your inbox. If you haven't signed up yet, the link will be in the comments below, and you can find the link on both of our social medias as well to make sure that you get those resources, which are really cool. And yeah, so let's jump in, I guess. What makes June difficult is almost never June. It's the lack of the system beforehand. Would you agree, Sam?
Yep, absolutely. The last thing you want to do is be, doing a year's work of filing and documenting in a week. So
that's never happened to me before.
No, I know you'd never do that, kid.
It's a nightmare. Getting the right pen to make sure you've kept your logbook. I would never do that either. No comment. Okay, let's start. Number one. One place for your work money. Can you talk about what that actually means? One place for your work money, and then all of your other bills and your family stuff and your direct debit for Netflix. How and why do we keep those separate?
Yeah, so that's just about keeping your personal expenses separate from your business expenses. The way you do that will depend based on the size of your operation. If you're a sole trader, with 1 or 2 NDIS clients, it's usually fine just to have a separate bank account. If you've got a bigger business, then maybe using some accounting software like Xero or MyOb is a good way to track it. But as long as you have all your business transactions separate from your personal and in one spot, because the last thing you want to do is be going through your personal bank account, finding which one's a business, which one's a personal. Either you'll have to just manually put it into an Excel spreadsheet to send to your accountant, or you'll have to send your accountant your personal bank statements, and he'll have to go through a year's worth of your life, which is going to be extra work for him, and likely extra fees for yourself, unless your accountant is super nice.
That sounds expensive to me, and also even just getting all of those statements together would be a pain in the butt. That would be something that I do not want to do, to gather all the year's worth.
Yeah, no, it's not fun. And then going through an old Excel document or PDF and just marking like business personal, business personal.
It sounds extremely time consuming, because how would you know, like, even as the accountant, you would be having an educated guess, right? If people aren't keeping proper records, you're like, oh, there's some parking here. I guess that could have been for business.
Yeah, us accountants, we are fantastic, but we cannot read minds, and we cannot travel through time and see what all these expenses were for. Obviously, we're going to ask about it. But I mean, if it's all just in the business account, then we know that.
Yeah, super easy.
It's for business, yeah.
Yeah, and bank accounts are free to open, and pretty easy. You can do it online these days. You don't have to go in and sign a triplicate form like in the olden days. When I was young, you can just do it online and it's open and ready for you like in 5 minutes. That's been my experience anyway.
Yeah, it can be done so quick, and so many people put it off because they just think, banking, finance, accounting is like not something you want to think about. But once you actually, jump on and just rip the Band-Aid off and do it, is actually not difficult at all.
Yeah. So yes, I would encourage everyone to have a separate bank account. So I imagine that's your favorite thing when people come in, they're like, oh, I've been really busy this year. I haven't had a chance to open a separate bank account for the business. So it's all mixed together, but let's figure it out. Is that your favorite when people do that?
Yeah, when people just get 5,000 documents and just plonk it and be like, there you go.
Like a movie, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay, well, don't be that person. If you have been that person, it's now's the time to change it. Like, go and have a look at opening a bank account. We use CommBank. We just use CommBank. I've used Westpac. Any of the big guys with great online banking are really easy to use and open as long as you have your business details with you. All right. Question number 2. Thing number 2. One place for your receipts. So the rule here is pretty simple. Capture it once and immediately. Like, don't leave it till that night. Like, if you have the receipt in front of you, like, take a snapshot, because the problem is really I never got a receipt. It's like I had one, I don't know where it went. It's in my email, or it's a photo that might have got uploaded to the cloud, or I put it in my old bag. So just get yourself an app usually, or you could email it to yourself if you have just make a receipts at Gmail, kimmatthewsreceipts@gmail.com and flick it to that. All of that is free. There's a lot of free ways to keep your receipts, but try not to keep them in a shoebox. I did that once, and this was like back in the day, and we moved, and the removalists lost a box of very important documents. It wasn't great, and that is the only time I've been audited by the tax department.
Oh no, what are the chances?
Yeah, what are the chances? But it turned out okay, because I signed a stat dec, they redid everything, and they actually owed me money. So I'm not saying that this is I'm not saying this is a strategy, but it was very stressful not being able to supply those receipts because I hadn't taken a copy of them. They were just paper. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's better to be safe than sorry in these circumstances.
Yeah. So when somebody comes to you with their tax to do their personal tax or their business tax, what's the ideal situation for you in terms of receipts? Do you need them? Do you need to see them? And how should they keep them? What's ideal from an accountant's point of view with receipt keeping?
Yeah, good question. So you should keep all your receipts. The accountant, or when I do someone's tax return, I'll ask for receipts for the larger or more unusual transactions. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to ask for a receipt for you spent $10 at Officeworks for a pen and paper. Technically, if the ATO does come knocking and wants to audit that $10, they can. Have I ever seen it in practice? No, but that's not to say it hasn't happened.
You never know.
I've never heard of someone having a deduction denied like that. It's the larger expenses
like a $3,000 Mac.
Yeah, if you got a $3,000 Mac, definitely keep the receipt and the invoice. And also for expenses paid personally. Sometimes, obviously it's not best practice to pay for expenses outside of the business bank account. But if that does happen, it's good to have the receipt so you can give that to your accountant and say, I paid for this in my personal account, just add this to my tax return.
Okay.
When they're looking at the business bank statements as well.
Yeah, right, okay. Yes. All right, I'm thinking about all the milk that I've bought from downstairs at the IGA. Hopefully they don't come for me.
The business-related milk?
Well, yes, I guess. Like I was doing business at the time of drinking the coffee with the milk, so...
That's a whole... We'll discuss that at the end of financial
separately.
year.
It's a separate thing.
We don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Okay. All right, moving on. Number three. Number three is a kilometre system that you can defend. So this is one of the biggest bones of contention and places of confusion, I think, is the kilometres. And I know a lot of questions came up in the group. We're going to get to all those questions, not in detail in this session, but as we go through the next two sessions, we will get to everyone. But let's just talk about the kilometre system that you can defend. So if you're driving to visit clients or between work sites or collecting office supplies, it does need to be recorded properly. And it's not just about tracking, it's about recording consistently, so that if somebody asks, like, well, what did you do on this trip? Or why were there so many kilometres here? You can give a clear answer. So when somebody presents a kilometre record to you or just tells you about kilometres they've done, what happens next? Like, what do you need to be able to make that work for people in a tax sense?
Yeah, so from the tax treatment is going to be different from what the NDIS expects. When a client comes to me, best case scenario is that a full logbook is kept. Mm-hmm. The rules around the logbook are you have to have at least 12 weeks, 12 consecutive weeks, where it shows the business use and personal use. Has to show the odometer reading before and at the end of the trip. Mm-hmm. It has to show where the trip was from and where it has gone to. It's a bit of a red flag if there's no trip locations on the logbook, because we don't know whether they have travelled from home to the participant or from work to the participant, because there's different rules about that. The other method is the cents per kilometre method. So the first method I just discussed was the logbook method. The second method is the cents per kilometre method. That one is a lot simpler than the logbook. You don't need as strict record keeping. You just need something that is justifiable to the ATO. For example, myself as an accountant, I work at home, or I'll work from the office all day. I don't need to go out and see clients. They'll generally come here or do a Zoom meeting. So if I claim 5,000 kilometres in travel, well, the ATO is going to probably disagree unless I have a really good explanation. Same with support workers. If you can show that you've got lots of different participants in lots of different areas, and you can show that there's a fair distance between, the ATO is going to be okay. Like they'll be okay with you claiming a reasonable amount, even if it's not documented to the exact kilometre. Does that kind of make sense?
It does. Can I ask a follow-up question that I think probably people will be thinking?
Yeah.
So if I've travelled, say, 6,000 kilometres this year just for work between participants, I've been paid travel for some of those, but not all of those. What can I claim? Let's assume I haven't kept a logbook. I've just recorded the number of kilometres, for example. What can I claim at tax time for that if I've been paid for some of the 6,000 kilometres, but not all of it?
Yeah. So it doesn't matter whether or not you've been reimbursed. Even if you were reimbursed zero for those kilometres, due to some sketchy reason, I don't know why.
Dodgy boss, yeah.
Yeah, dodgy boss. But that has no impact on whether or not those kilometres are deductible according to the ATO. So you've traveled 6,000 kilometers. The maximum amount you can claim per vehicle is 5,000. So what you would do is you just claim 5,000 kilometers at the ATO's cents per kilometer deduction rate.
Yeah, right. Cool.
Yeah, and that changes each year. You know, it was 85 cents the year before, 88 cents 2025. And...
Yep, cool. Okay, I think that clears it up, and we can go into more detail in our third video, I think. But that's something that people always ask about and argue about. Okay, number 4. Your client paperwork foundation. So we're talking about having a service agreement, keeping your work records properly maintained, and most people only realise the value of that when something goes wrong, like a payment dispute or an insurance question or a GST inquiry. So, you know, any other situation where people remember things differently. So basic paperwork is really important. You don't need a heavy system, but how often do small paperwork gaps end up getting turned into bigger problems for people that you've worked with? Do you have any insight into that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief on this one, because the lesson I learned from an NDIS consultant I used to work with, she said, if it isn't documented, it didn't happen.
Yes.
And that's, I think every NDIS provider should have that as their, maybe not motto, but as a
mantra?
Guiding principle. Yeah, because that's it. If you don't have any documentation, then you've got no proof of anything. And with the ATO especially, the rule is you're guilty until proven innocent. So what that means is, if the ATO, it's great. What it means is, if the ATO disputes something, or they think something's been done incorrectly, the onus is on you as the taxpayer to prove that the ATO is wrong and that you're correct. Because if you can't prove they're wrong, then they're right.
Yeah, right. Okay. That's why people are so scared of the tax office. Yeah, that's scary. So I agree.
If it's all documented, nothing to fear.
Nothing to fear, yeah. If it's not documented, it didn't happen. I have a business consultant that also says that to me a lot. Yeah. Must be in Business Consultancy 101.
Yeah, that's wise words.
Number 5, your weekly 15-minute routine. So you can get this done in 15 minutes and it will hold everything together. So there's no point in building this good system if you're then sitting down like 3 days before the end of June and trying to cram everything together. So choose one fixed time a week if you can. I know shift work is hard, but choose a time that works for you, where you know, maybe you're sitting down in front of Netflix on a Friday, get your laptop out and just make it happen. So just do 3 things. Make sure your receipts are captured and in a place like in a file or in your Gmail account that's just for receipts, or in your app. Log your kilometres for the week, so just have a quick look through. You can't have done that many, especially if you're an independent. You're like 5 clients maximum, maybe 10. I'm sure somebody will call me out now and say, like, I have 25. Get your kilometres right and check that your invoicing is correct. And that's it. Just do those 3 things, and that's going to save you a lot of time in the long run, so you're not trying to remember back 6 months, what happened, where did I go that day. So do you notice a difference in how people arrive depending if they have a regular system versus a little bit of admin chaos? Like how does that present to you with your customers?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's obviously a lot better when everyone's organized, and it's just so much more straightforward and streamlined. But that's not to say that if you're disorganized, that you should avoid seeing the accountant.
Yeah,
because that's actually a great motivator to get started with these things. Sometimes you know, you've had a year that's just, you've been all over the place, all right, but then you meet the accountant and work out what you got to do going forward, you know, learn about this checklist, and that's a great place to start.
Yeah, I agree. Don't be scared to go. If you are in that chaotic category, don't be scared to go to your accountant, or find a great accountant like Sam who will sit down with you and work through and help you get it organised. Like, it's like going to the dentist when you haven't been flossing. Like, they still love you. They still want you to come and see them. They just want you to do this extra couple of things. So I feel like it's the same thing. You shouldn't feel intimidated if you're not organised, because you've got to bite the bullet at some point. So we're going to send out a resource that's a really easy way to do those 3 things. So you'll get that in your email, and the link obviously is going to be in the description. If you're already on our email list, you'll just get that automatically. So and if you don't want to be on the list after that, unsubscribe. No problem. I won't be offended. Neither will Sam. I'm
cool.
Yeah, he's down with that. So if you're already using the Spark Scribe app, that obviously is my app, it already takes care of this automatically. So the kilometre tracking, the expense recording, there's a receipt vault in there, and you can still grab that checklist. Like, if you're not into using that type of app, that's fine, but you should do these things. But as I said, Scribe does it all. So you can grab a 14-day free trial from sparkscribe.ai. And I actually worked closely with Sam organising the accountant reports that the app produces, so that you can flick it off to your accountant and they can have a glance at it. And Sam tells me it's useful.
Yeah, it's great. It's good. It just, yeah.
It works.
Does the job.
Yeah, it does the job.
I'm not going to start just like talking about all the details of everything. But
No, but
it gives the accountant what he needs.
Yeah, just give the accountant what they need on a spreadsheet. It's super easy, and then you can move on with your life into the next financial year. So you've got a challenge before video 2. How old am I? Before our next before our next thing that we do. Just do one thing. If you haven't opened a separate account, open the separate account. Just do one of the things and do like small steps. So that's your challenge before our next video drops in May. So that's it. Thanks for being here. In the next video in May, do you want to tell about that, Sam?
Yeah, the next video in May.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of fun reporting requirements that the ATO has that many sole traders, I find, aren't aware about when they go into it. So we're going to break that down for you. So if you're already an independent sole trader, you know what you have to do. And if you're thinking about going into it, you've got a good base understanding of the compliance involved.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's going to be an absolute barrel of laughs. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it always is.
It always is.
Business activity statements.
Yeah, I love it. One more thing. At the end of this series, so we will drop the 3rd video in June, we're going to give away 1 annual Sparks Scribe subscription to somebody, and also a one-on-one session with Sam for somebody on our email list. So that's happening after the last video. So keep following along. As I said, if it's not for you, unsubscribe, no problems. But if you've been with us for a little while, you know that we only send out valuable content. We're not just spamming you every week. So yeah. Thanks, Sam, for your wise words.
Thank you, Kim. It was a blast as always.
All right, looking forward to the next one.
All right. We'll see you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.